Rudy Giuliani and Jenna Ellis from the Trump team, as well as Pennsylvanian legislators and witnesses, laid out their case in detail. NTD's Christina Kim has the details.
In the historic city Gettysburg, Pennsylvania officials gathered at the Wyndham Hotel to hold a public hearing regarding legal issues in the state's election. Giuliani spoke first, saying the election is run by no one other than the state legislature. He quoted Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2 of the Constitution, which laid out this designation.
Each state shall appoint in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct a number of electors. It's the state legislature that controls this process. It's your power. It's your responsibility.
Leah Hoops is a Delaware County resident. She was a poll watcher on election night and was at the counting center in Chester, Pennsylvania. Hoops said one of her greatest concerns was the back room of the counting center, which had no observers and no line of sight. She said there was no cooperation between poll watchers and poll workers, and even felt resistance from the workers.
Even with an injunction, which was a joke, we were granted 5 minutes every 2 hours, and the setup was sitting in a chair 20 feet from any physical ballot.
Colonel Phil Waldron is a psychological operations officer in information and electronic warfare. He said his team has been studying voting machine manipulations since 2018. Waldron said the voting systems used in this election were built to be manipulated and were used in stolen elections around the world in Venezuela, Argentina, Italy, and Singapore. Referring to this year's vote data, he spoke of spike anomalies, which are events where the numerical amount of votes processed in a time period is not feasible or mechanically possible under normal circumstances. This is based off a specified rate of speed at which these machines can process or image ballots.
Yes. And when you look at this entire curve with all these spikes, can you calculate how much of a vote that accounted for Biden and how much for Trump?
Close to 600,000. I think our figures were about 570 some odd thousand that all those spikes represent over time.
For Biden?
Correct.
And how much for Trump?
I think it was a little over 3,200.
Olivia Jane Winters, a minority poll inspector, also gave her testimony.
I'm actually I'm a registered Democrat, and I just wanted to help and make sure it was a fair election. I don't care who wins. I care that it's a fair election.
Winters said she was immediately met with hostility from all of the workers. When someone tried to return a mail-in ballot and vote in person, this required a signature from the judge of elections. But the judge of elections, who was not supposed to leave the building, had gone home for 45 minutes. Winters was confronted by a poll watcher and committee man who told her anyone could sign the affidavit and began to admonish her, saying,
why don't you stop trying to cause problems? Why don't you shut up? Started getting in my face, cursing at me, telling me that I needed to be quiet, that I didn't know what I was talking about, and I should just learn to sit down and not say anything and just let it happen.
Others testified as well, citing anomalies like USB sticks in voting machines. A poll watcher said that more than 2 is unusual, and while officials deny the allegations, 47 are currently missing. Another said that stacks of hundreds of blank mail-in ballots were used to fix ballots that could not be read. Nobody was there to oversee this. Senator Doug Mastriano concluded the public hearing by saying the truth is out there. He said that history was changed in 1863 in Gettysburg, so on this day, history is changing for our country and this state, back at Gettysburg once again. Christina Kim, NTD News.
And that election hearing in Pennsylvania got a surprise call from President Trump, who wasn't expected to make an appearance. NTD's Miguel Moreno has more on the president's comments and the thanks he gave Americans for standing up for him.
We have one additional witness.
Commentator.
Please.
All right. I will introduce to you now, Mr. President. You are connected.
Networks, but I really appreciate being asked to speak, and I'm in the Oval Office right now, and it's very interesting to see what's going on, and this was an election that we won easily. We won it by a lot. Big energy.
President Trump called in for about 10 minutes. During the call, he said that a great deal of evidence related to election fraud is coming in, so much that, in his words, it's touching the ceiling. And he encouraged his supporters to not be intimidated in the face of threats and pushback as his legal team carries on with their work.
This is a very important moment in the history of our country, and you're doing a tremendous service to our country. And don't worry about bravery, because the people that talk the most, they're not the ones you have to worry about. And these are all talkers. They intimidate. But these are not people. Don't be intimidated by these people. But they're bad people. They're horrible people. And they're people that don't love our country.
The Pennsylvania GOP said the president was going to participate in the hearing along with his lawyer, Rudy Giuliani. But according to their Twitter post, they didn't say he would attend the hearing in person. The White House schedule said he had no public planned events that day. Miguel Moreno, NTD News.
And just outside the hotel where the Pennsylvania hearing was held, a crowd of what looked to be hundreds showed up to voice their support for the president.
It's not the election that secures one's freedom. Freedom and liberty come from only one place. It comes from our Creator, God Himself, who has endowed all mankind with the rights, inalienable rights. It doesn't mean they're negotiable.
And we need to praise Him. Don't give up. Don't give up. Never give up.